All right, guys, lesson 6.4, rational equations part 2. Hope all is well. Hope you're enjoying all these videos. I'm loving making them, let me tell you. All right, good to see you. All right, okay, so we're still solving. This is an equation, all right? I want to start off with a restriction, though. The restriction is any value in the denominator that would cause it to go to 0. Well, 3 is a constant, you're cool. 6 is a constant, you're cool. The only problem we have here is n. And if I were to plug in the value of 0, you can't divide by 0. So right away, the restriction on this is n cannot be the value of 0. So if we do all this work and we get 0, yeah, we have to say there's no solution. I know that seems kind of unfair, but that's how it works out. Okay, you can't get a restriction as the value. All right, so we want to solve for n. Okay, with these fractions, the first thing you're going to want to do is find the lowest common denominator of all of the denominators. Okay, so listen, 3. We're talking about multiples here. So 3, 6, 9, 12. See 12 over here? 6, 12, 18. I'm looking for the lowest number both can go into, and that would be 6. All right, because 3 can divide evenly into 6, and 6 can divide into 6. Okay. Then, if there's any variables, see that n, we also want to include that factor. Okay, because we're going with multiples, we need at least that one n right there. After you get your LCD, we're going to take it and we're going to multiply the numerators all by 6n on both sides of the equation. Because if you do it to one side of the equation, here's your equal sign, you have to do it to the other, and we're multiplying by 6n. Here comes that great distributive property again. Okay, so 6n is going to be multiplied by this, right? 6n is going to be multiplied by this. And just to make life easier, I'm just going to write it up here, because I'm going to distribute it, and then we're going to cancel it. Make this where y'all can read it. So every time you're going to distribute that 6n, and then let's go ahead and do the canceling first. 3 can divide into 6. Okay, 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 6 is 2. You're left with 4 times 2 times n, so now this is just 8n. See how you've lost any of the fraction? That's the whole point. All right, if you look over here, the n's will cancel out. You're left with 7 times 6 minus 42. And then over here, the 6 drop out, and you're left with 1 times n is n. All right, I'm going to put an arrow here. All right, can I get you here? Basically, if you found the right lowest common multiple, lowest common denominator, you'll get an equation like you did in Algebra 1. Boy, that fan is doing it again. Let me turn that fan off. It's making the paper move. All right, here we go. We're going to solve for n. I'm going to subtract 8n from this side. So I'm subtracting from this side. I get negative 42 equals negative 7n. Divide by negative 7, divide by negative 7, and 6 equals n. What was our restriction? Kellum, very good. Our restriction was n cannot be 0. So we're good to go, and 6 is the answer to example 7. While you're taking a moment, let me make sure nothing else moved. I keep turning that fan on, and then that paper just wants to dance, but it looks like we're good to go. It also looks like y'all want to do another one. Yeah, let's do another one, okay? Let me erase. And again, we're on lesson 6.4, Algebra 2, and this is virtual 908. My classroom was huge. I had probably about 650 square feet, right? And now I'm working in a room that is like 121. I mean, this is a small room compared to that. So if you're wondering why I seem squished over here, I don't know, it kind of makes me a little more organized up here. Okay, how are we looking on number 9? Oh my goodness. Okay, so same game first. I've got a fraction, technically that's a fraction, and the fraction over there, we need the LCD. Okay, this is prime, p minus 2 is prime. P squared minus 4 can be factored. All right, so we have to factor that. All right, this is prime, but this can be factored. So do you remember, we're going to do our two sets of parentheses, and you're going to do p plus 2, p minus 2. All right, here's how the LCD works. You're going to include all factors that you see in the denominator. So look, I see a factor of p minus 2. So over here in my LCD box, I'm going to need a p minus 2. If p minus 2 shows up somewhere else, as long as it's the same amount, you don't have to put another one, okay? You have at most one factor of p minus 2 for each of them. 1 is just 1. If I multiply by 1, it's not going to change anything. And then there's also a factor of p plus 2. So let me just try to say this in English, okay? And the best way to say this, right, is in English. When it comes to finding the LCD with algebra, after you factor, include all factors you see from all the denominators, okay? I see a p minus 2 here, you write it down. If another one has p minus 2, you don't have to write it down again. And then there's another factor of p plus 2. This is going to be your LCD. Once you get your LCD, we're going to multiply all the numerators by p minus 2, p plus 2. Come over here, don't forget that one in the middle, p minus 2, p plus 2. And the very last one over here, we're going to multiply by p minus 2, p plus 2. And this is the LCD. All right, let me back out of the way for a second. I'm used to working on a much bigger board, and I want to make sure you can see all that. Yeah, excellent. Okay, so you're so in the habit of multiplying this stuff out, you don't have to. We're not going to double distribute this out. We're not going to FOIL it out. You're going to cancel if you can, okay? So look, p minus 2 is a factor, p minus 2 is a factor, they're identical, cross it out. You're just left with p times p plus 2, okay? Come over here, nobody cancels, but look, I'm going to write the 2 and the p minus 2 and the p plus 2. And no one canceled in the middle because we only have 1 there. And then if you look over here, this is really, really good news. Look, p plus 2 cancels and p minus 2 cancels, so you're just left with ocho. All right, I'm going to put an arrow here. The name of this game is when you find the LCD and you multiply everybody by the lowest common denominator, you lose the fractionness, okay? I'm allowed to say that. You actually lose the fractionness of the equation. So now we can simplify this. This is p squared plus 2p plus I have to now FOIL this out, okay? Which is going to be 2 times p squared minus 4, okay? And then look, p squared plus 2p plus, I'm going to distribute the 2, 2p squared minus 8 equals 8. We're going to combine like terms over here. Now I have 3p squared plus 2p minus 8. And here comes that question I always ask. Well, look, I forgot my equals 8 over here. If you're solving an equation and you get a quadratic, do you guys remember what you have to do first right away? Yes, you're going to get it, the equation, and set it equal to 0. So you're going to subtract 8 from both sides, and now you have 3p squared plus 2p minus 16 equals 0. All right, and now we're going to try to solve this, and we're going to see if this baby will factor, okay? So let's try factoring this. And the problem is this 3 here is going to cause us to have a little bit of stress. So let's just try it. I'm going to have 3p here, and I'm going to have p over here. I'm going to do factors of 16, and I want to get a 2 in the middle. 16 is 1 times 16, 2 times 8, or 4 times 4. Anybody have a guess? All right, so let's just try, let's just try 2 and 8. What's it gonna hurt, right? All right, so I'll put 8 here and I'll put 2 here. See how 8 times 2 will give you that 16. All right, but if you notice, that 3p is going to affect that 2. That's gonna be 6p versus 8p. And that's good news because I want a positive 2p in the middle. So I'm going to put the positive here and I'm going to put the negative here. Okay, just in case I confuse you even more, you remember a long time ago we used to do the smaller smile is 8p and this larger smile is negative 6p, and then when I add that together, look, I get that 2p in the middle. That's why I selected those numbers. Also here, let me erase for a second. All right, the negative 16 means the signs are going to be different. So look, the signs are different. I want a positive 2p. Okay, that's why the 8p got the positive. Then once you're here, remember what to do? You take this factor and set it equal to 0, and you take this factor and you set it equal to 0. And then you're going to solve both of these equations. Wow, look how butt ugly this is. Holy smokages. All right, divide by 3, and you get negative 8/3. You're going to add 2, you're going to get p equals 2. Now go back to the original problem. Did we have any restrictions? Look, if you can't have the number 2. If you plug in 2 take away 2 is 0, so you got to cross out this answer as extraneous solution. Okay? Folks, we are not going to move on too fast from this, okay? Relax, all right? I will come back to you. Let's see how you do with this. Take it easy.